I need to start this conversation in a way that might surprise you, because what I'm about to say is something many women have wondered about in silence, but very few feel comfortable asking out loud. Why do so many men love to kiss down there? Why does it seem like such a strong desire? Is it just physical? Is it emotional? Is it biological? Is it about pleasure or something deeper? And more importantly, what does it mean for you? Today, I'm going to explain this from a gynecologist perspective, not from myths, not from gossip, not from what movies show us, but from real biology, psychology, and relationship science. And if you stay with me until the end, you're going to understand not only why men are drawn to it, but what every woman should know about her own body, her confidence, her comfort, and her power. First, let's remove the awkwardness. We're talking about oral intimacy, specifically when a man is eager to give oral pleasure to a woman. For many women, this can bring up mixed emotions. Some feel empowered, some feel shy, some feel insecure, some feel worried about hygiene, some wonder if it's normal, some even question whether he genuinely enjoys it or is just doing it for them. Here's the truth. For many men, the desire to kiss and explore a woman intimately is deeply rooted in biology. The female body releases natural pheromones. These are subtle chemical signals that play a role in attraction. While humans don't rely on pheromones as strongly as animals do, scent still matters a lot in attraction. A healthy, natural scent can actually trigger arousal in men. It's not something they consciously analyze. It's instinctive. But it's not just about scent. It's about visual stimulation too. Men are highly visual creatures. The female anatomy, especially the vulva and surrounding area, represents femininity, fertility, softness, and vulnerability. From a biological standpoint, it signals reproductive capability. That visual cue alone can stimulate desire. However, if it were only about biology, it wouldn't feel so emotionally charged. And this is where it gets deeper. Many men report that giving oral pleasure makes them feel powerful in a positive way, not controlling, but competent. It makes them feel like they can satisfy their partner. When a woman responds positively, it boosts their confidence dramatically. In fact, some men say they feel more connected when giving than when receiving. Now let's talk about something important. Women often worry about appearance. Is it normal? Does it look okay? Is the color normal? Is the size normal? Let me reassure you, as a gynecologist would, there is enormous variation in vulvar anatomy. Labia can be small, large, uneven, darker, lighter. All of that is completely normal. There is no single ideal look. What media shows is not reality. And most men are not comparing you to anything. They're focused on you in that moment. Another concern women have is hygiene. Let's be clear. Basic hygiene is enough. The vagina is self-cleaning internally. You should never douche. That disrupts your natural pH and protective bacteria. Warm water externally is usually sufficient. Mild, fragrance-free cleansers can be used on the outer vulva, but nothing harsh. A healthy vulva has a natural scent. It is not supposed to smell like perfume or soap. If there is a strong fishy odor, itching, or unusual discharge, that may signal an infection, and that's something to see a doctor about. But a mild, musky scent is completely normal. Now, here's something fascinating from a psychological perspective. Oral intimacy is extremely intimate because it involves vulnerability. When someone puts their face between your legs, that is trust. For many men, that act symbolizes devotion. It's a way of saying, I want to please you. It flips traditional power dynamics. Instead of taking, they are giving, and that can feel deeply bonding. Some men also report that they love the reactions, the sounds, the body movements, the way a woman lets go. They feel like they're unlocking something powerful, and neurologically speaking, the clitoris has over 8,000 nerve endings. That's more than any other part of the human body. So stimulation there can create intense pleasure. When a man sees that his actions are creating that pleasure, it reinforces his desire to continue. Let's talk about something sensitive. Some women feel uncomfortable receiving oral sex because they were raised in environments where sexuality was shamed. They may feel dirty or undeserving of pleasure. If that's you, I want you to pause and breathe. Your body is not dirty. Your pleasure is not wrong. Sexual health is part of overall health. In fact, research shows that regular sexual activity can improve mood, reduce stress, and even support immune function. Another aspect is emotional intimacy. Many men say that kissing a woman there feels more intimate than intercourse itself. Why? Because intercourse can sometimes feel mechanical. But oral requires focus, attention, patience. It's slower. It involves exploration. That slowness builds connection. However, it's essential to remember that consent and comfort are everything. Just because many men enjoy it does not mean you are obligated to allow it. Your boundaries matter. If you don't feel comfortable, that is valid. If you need more foreplay, more trust, more communication, that is healthy. A good partner respects that completely. Now let's discuss health and safety. Oral sex can transmit infections, including HPV, herpes, gonorrhea, and chlamydia. Protection like dental dams exists, although they are not commonly used. Open communication about STI testing is crucial in a relationship. If you notice sores, unusual discharge, or pain, avoid intimacy until evaluated. There's also the issue of grooming. Some women feel pressure to remove hair. Let me say clearly, pubic hair is natural. It protects against friction and infection. Shaving can cause microcuts that increase infection risk. Waxing can cause irritation. You do not have to remove hair to be attractive. That decision should be yours alone. Interestingly, some men say they prefer natural hair, some prefer trimmed. Preferences vary widely, but what matters most is your comfort. Now let's address something many women quietly wonder. If he loves doing it, does that mean he doesn't enjoy intercourse as much? Not necessarily. Different acts stimulate different aspects of desire. For many men, giving oral is about closeness and response. Intercourse might be about physical release and connection. They're not mutually exclusive. There's also the hormonal aspect. During arousal, dopamine levels rise. Dopamine is the reward chemical. If a man associates oral sex with strong positive reactions and emotional bonding, his brain links it with reward. Over time, that reinforces the behavior. But here's something empowering. When you understand why he enjoys it, you can stop internalizing it as pressure. It's not about you needing to be perfect. It's about shared pleasure. Communication is the bridge. If you're worried about taste, ask gently. If you're worried about timing in your cycle, talk about it. Menstrual cycles can affect scent and discharge slightly. That's normal. Many couples choose to avoid oral during menstruation, but some are comfortable with it. There's no universal rule. Let's also talk about confidence. Confidence is one of the most attractive qualities in any person. When a woman feels comfortable in her body, it changes the entire dynamic. If you're constantly tense, worrying how you look or smell, you can't relax, and relaxation is key for pleasure. The pelvic floor muscles need to be relaxed for optimal sensation. Breathing deeply can help. Focusing on sensation rather than appearance can help. Remember that he is there because he wants to be. There is also cultural influence. In some cultures, oral sex is taboo. In others, it's normalized. Personal beliefs play a role. It's important to align with your own values rather than external pressure. If you've ever felt unsure whether he truly enjoys it, here's something to consider. Genuine enjoyment usually shows through enthusiasm, patience, and attention. If he rushes or seems distracted, that's different. But if he's focused and responsive to your reactions, that's real desire. Another important medical note, Hydration affects vaginal lubrication and scent. Drinking enough water supports natural balance. Diet can influence body odor slightly, but extreme claims online are exaggerated. You don't need special foods to be acceptable. Now, I want to talk directly to the women who feel self-conscious about color differences. The vulva often appears darker than surrounding skin due to hormones and increased blood flow. That is completely normal. It is not a flaw. Pregnancy, age, and genetics influence it. Aging also changes tissue elasticity. After childbirth or menopause, things may look or feel different. That does not reduce desirability. Many men are attracted to maturity and confidence. There's also something deeply psychological about closeness. Being face to face with such an intimate part of you can make a man feel trusted. That trust can increase emotional attachment. But again, your comfort comes first. If you've had trauma, this act might feel triggering. Therapy and open communication can help. Healing takes time. If you choose to engage in oral intimacy, here are gentle reminders. Urinate afterward to reduce risk of urinary tract infections. Avoid harsh soaps. Wear breathable cotton underwear. Pay attention to changes in discharge. Normal discharge varies throughout the cycle. Clear and stretchy around ovulation, thicker and white at other times. And remember this powerful truth. Your body is designed for pleasure. The clitoris exists solely for pleasure. It has no reproductive function. That alone tells you something important. Female pleasure matters. Men loving to kiss down there is not strange. It's not perverted. It's not something you need to be ashamed of. It's a combination of biology, psychology, attraction, and emotional bonding. But the most important thing every woman should know is this. You are not obligated to perform, impress, or meet unrealistic standards. You deserve respect, communication, and mutual pleasure. When intimacy is based on trust and understanding, it becomes something beautiful instead of something confusing. And if this conversation made you feel seen, reassured, or empowered, that's exactly why I created it. Because women deserve clear, honest, medically grounded information about their bodies and their relationships. When we talk about intimacy, most people immediately think about physical techniques, attraction, chemistry, and passion. But what truly determines whether intimacy feels safe, satisfying, and deeply connecting is not technique at all. It is communication, consent, and confidence. Without these three pillars, even the most intense chemistry can feel awkward, pressured, or emotionally distant. With them, intimacy becomes secure, pleasurable, and empowering. Communication in intimacy is not just about talking during the act. It begins long before anyone touches anyone. It starts with emotional openness. It starts with being able to say what you like, what you don't like, what makes you nervous, what excites you, and what boundaries you have. Many women grow up in environments where expressing sexual preferences is discouraged. They are taught to be passive, to let the man lead, to avoid seeming too experienced or too demanding. But healthy intimacy is not passive. It is collaborative. When a woman feels safe enough to communicate, everything changes. She can say, I like it slower. She can say, I'm not comfortable with that. She can say, can we try this instead? These small statements transform the entire dynamic. They prevent resentment. They prevent misunderstanding. They prevent silent discomfort that builds over time. Communication protects emotional safety. Consent is often misunderstood as a one-time yes or no. In reality, consent is ongoing. It is active. It is enthusiastic. It is not silence. It is not freezing. It is not going along with something to avoid disappointing someone. True consent is when you feel comfortable, when your body feels relaxed, when your mind feels aligned with what is happening. Consent can be withdrawn at any moment, even if you said yes before. That is not manipulation. That is self-respect. In healthy intimacy, both partners are attuned to each other's cues. A partner who values consent will notice body language. Are you tense? Are you pulling away slightly? Are you quiet in a way that feels uncomfortable instead of focused? These signals matter. Communication and consent work together. If something feels uncertain, a simple question like, "Is this okay?" or "Do you like this?" can strengthen trust rather than ruin the mood. Some people worry that talking during intimacy will make it less spontaneous. In reality, it often makes it more connected. Knowing that your partner cares about your comfort increases arousal because safety allows the nervous system to relax. When you feel safe, your body can fully respond. Blood flow increases, lubrication improves, sensation intensifies, emotional closeness deepens. Confidence is the third pillar, and it is deeply linked to communication and consent. Confidence in intimacy does not mean you have to look perfect. It does not mean you have to perform like someone in a movie. It means you feel secure enough to exist in your body without constant self-criticism. When you are confident, you are not obsessing over how your stomach looks, whether your thighs are positioned a certain way, or whether you sound attractive. You are present. Presence is powerful. When you are present, you notice sensation, you notice connection, you notice pleasure. Confidence allows you to receive pleasure without guilt. Many women struggle more with receiving than giving. They may feel selfish, exposed, or undeserving, but healthy intimacy requires balance. If you can communicate what feels good, give consent freely, and allow yourself to enjoy the experience, intimacy becomes mutual rather than transactional. Let's talk about why communication can feel difficult. Shame plays a huge role. If someone has been criticized for their body, shamed for their curiosity, or dismissed when expressing boundaries, they may learn to stay quiet. Silence becomes protection. But silence in intimacy often leads to dissatisfaction. Over time, unspoken discomfort can create emotional distance. Breaking that pattern requires courage. It may start outside the bedroom. It might begin with saying, "There's something I want to talk about." It might involve admitting vulnerability, like, "Sometimes I feel shy expressing what I want." These conversations build emotional intimacy before physical intimacy even begins. When emotional safety is established, physical exploration feels more natural. Consent also intersects with power dynamics. In some relationships, one partner may feel more dominant in personality. That does not mean the other partner's boundaries disappear. Healthy dominance still requires enthusiastic consent. Healthy submission still requires active choice. No dynamic should ever override personal comfort. Confidence grows when your boundaries are respected. Every time you say no and your partner honors it without pressure, your nervous system learns that you are safe. Every time you express a preference and your partner listens, your sense of worth strengthens. Over time, this builds sexual confidence that is rooted in respect rather than validation. Another important aspect of communication is discussing expectations. Not everyone has the same level of desire, the same fantasies, or the same comfort zones. If these differences are ignored, misunderstandings arise. Open dialogue prevents assumptions. It allows compromise without coercion. Let's consider the role of past experiences. Trauma, negative relationships, or even cultural conditioning can influence how someone experiences intimacy. Communication creates space for healing. A partner who knows your triggers can move gently. A partner who understands your fears can reassure you. Without communication, those fears remain hidden and may surface unexpectedly. Consent is also about timing. Just because you have consented to something in the past does not mean you automatically consent today. Mood, stress levels, physical health, and emotional state all influence readiness. Healthy intimacy adapts. It does not demand consistency. Confidence is strengthened by self-knowledge. Understanding your own body, your cycle, your arousal patterns, and your emotional needs gives you clarity. When you know yourself, you can articulate your needs more easily. Self-awareness fuels confident communication. It's important to address the fear of rejection. Many people hesitate to express boundaries because they worry their partner will lose interest. But a partner who withdraws because you communicated a boundary is revealing a lack of respect. Healthy attraction does not disappear when boundaries are expressed. It adjusts. Communication also includes positive feedback. Saying, "I like when you do that," reinforces connection. It guides your partner. It reduces guesswork. It builds shared knowledge. Intimacy becomes a collaborative discovery rather than a performance evaluation. Confidence does not mean you never feel insecure. It means you do not let insecurity control your choices. You might feel a moment of self-consciousness, but you continue communicating. You continue honoring your boundaries. You continue engaging with awareness. Let's talk about body language. Communication is not only verbal. Eye contact, touch, breathing patterns, and posture all send signals. Being attuned to these cues requires mindfulness. When partners slow down and pay attention, intimacy becomes more responsive and less scripted. Consent can also be playful. It does not have to feel formal. It can sound like, "Do you want me to keep going?" or "Tell me if you want more." These invitations create shared control. Shared control increases trust. Confidence also grows from self-care. Taking care of your physical health, mental health, and emotional well-being enhances your sense of agency. When you feel strong in daily life, you are more likely to feel strong in intimate spaces. Communication should include discussions about sexual health. Talking about STI testing, contraception, and protection methods demonstrates responsibility. These conversations may feel uncomfortable at first, but they protect both partners. When health is prioritized, intimacy feels safer. Consent also requires sobriety and clarity. When someone is heavily intoxicated, their ability to give informed consent is compromised. Healthy intimacy happens when both individuals are mentally present. Confidence in intimacy is deeply connected to how you view your worth. If you believe your pleasure matters, you are more likely to advocate for it. If you believe your comfort is important, you are more likely to pause when something feels wrong. Communication strengthens emotional bonding. When you can talk openly about desires and fears, you build a deeper layer of trust. That trust often enhances physical satisfaction because emotional closeness increases arousal for many people. Let's address the myth that talking about sex ruins spontaneity. In reality, anticipation created through conversation can heighten excitement. Expressing desire verbally can be incredibly intimate. Consent is empowering. It ensures that intimacy is a shared experience, not something one person endures for the other. It reinforces autonomy. Autonomy is attractive. When both partners choose each other freely, intimacy feels vibrant rather than obligatory. Confidence allows you to explore without losing yourself. You can try new things while still honoring your limits. Exploration becomes safe experimentation rather than pressure. Healthy intimacy evolves over time. Communication keeps it adaptable. What felt exciting at one stage of life may shift later. Hormonal changes, stress, aging, and life events influence desire. Ongoing dialogue keeps partners aligned. Consent should be enthusiastic, not reluctant. If you feel unsure, that uncertainty deserves attention. Pausing to check in is a sign of maturity, not weakness. Confidence also involves forgiving yourself for awkward moments. Intimacy is human. There may be laughter, unexpected interruptions, imperfect timing. Embracing imperfection reduces performance anxiety. Communication can deepen foreplay. Talking about fantasies, preferences, and emotional needs builds anticipation. It transforms intimacy from routine to intentional connection. Consent is a continuous dance. It is checking in, adjusting, respecting shifts. It is mutual. Confidence radiates when you move with assurance, when you speak with clarity, when you relax into your body, your partner feels it. That energy influences the entire experience. Communication, consent, and confidence together create intimacy that is not just physical, but holistic. It involves the mind, the body, and the emotional core. It transforms touch into connection and desire into shared experience. It allows pleasure without guilt and boundaries without fear. It builds relationships where intimacy is safe, expressive, and deeply fulfilling. But the most important thing every woman should know is this: you are not obligated to perform, impress, or meet unrealistic standards. You deserve respect, communication, and mutual pleasure. When intimacy is based on trust and understanding, it becomes something beautiful instead of something confusing. And if this conversation made you feel seen, reassured, or empowered, that's exactly why I created it. Because women deserve clear, honest, medically grounded information about their bodies and their relationships.